The Battle of Arsuf was a critical encounter during the Third Crusade, fought on September 7, 1191, between the forces of Richard the Lionheart, King of England, and Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria. This battle marked one of the few clear-cut victories for the Crusaders during the Third Crusade and established Richard's reputation as a brilliant military leader. Now let's dive into the events of the battle as if we were standing on the battlefield, watching the armies clash. It's the hot, dry summer of 1191. Richard the Lionheart and his Crusader army are marching south along the Mediterranean coast toward the key city of Jaffa. After their successful siege of Acre, the Crusaders are pressing their advantage, determined to seize control of the important coastal cities, which are vital for securing supply lines. Saladin, aware of the Crusaders' movements, is determined to stop them before they can reach Jaffa and fortify their position. The Crusader army is a formidable force, well-organized, disciplined, and highly motivated. Richard knows that his men are vulnerable while marching in a long column, especially when they're near the dense forests and hills that line the road to Jaffa. His knights in their heavy armor march in formation, with infantry protecting the flanks and the supply wagons and siege engines bringing up the rear. Richard's fleet sails close to the shore, ready to offer support. As you walk along the column, you can feel the tension in the air. The soldiers know that Saladin's forces are nearby, constantly harassing the Crusader line. Mounted archers from Saladin's army launch hit-and-run attacks from the cover of trees and hills, firing arrows that whistle through the air. But Richard keeps his men under tight control, resisting the temptation to break formation and chase after the elusive attackers. On September 7th, the Crusaders reached the outskirts of Arsuf, a coastal plain about 50 kilometers north of Jaffa. The day is scorching hot, the sun blazing overhead. Richard knows that Saladin's full army is preparing to strike. In the distance, you can see the banners of Saladin's army fluttering in the wind. Thousands of mounted archers, light cavalry, and infantry gather in the rolling hills and forests, waiting for the right moment to attack. The battle is imminent. The battle begins with a relentless series of attacks from Saladin's mounted archers. As you stand on the battlefield, you watch waves of horse archers dart forward, loosing volleys of arrows before quickly retreating out of range. The Crusaders, shielded by their armor, raise their large kite shields and endure the barrage. The air is thick with dust, and the sounds of hooves pounding the earth as the Muslim cavalry tries to weaken the Crusader lines. The arrows clatter off armor and shields, but the Crusaders hold their formation, marching steadily forward, step by step, towards Jaffa. Richard knows he must maintain discipline. If his knights break ranks to pursue the harassing cavalry, it could be disastrous. As the battle unfolds, Richard rides up and down the line on his warhorse, shouting orders and keeping morale high. His commanders, including Hugh of Burgundy and the Knights Hospitaller, are ready to strike, but know they must wait for the perfect moment. Saladin's forces continue their attacks throughout the morning, with archers and light cavalry swooping in and out of range, but they cannot break the Crusaders' discipline. The Crusaders' steady advance continues along the coastal plain, their eyes fixed on Jaffa.